Recording first. There we go. Now I'm recording. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Just drop that ass, bitch. It's OpenMicers in the house. Pop that pussy with that OpenMicers logo in your mouth. Jason with his bald ass head. Jacob looking in red. It's OpenMicers, bitch. Heard what I said. Drop that ass, OpenMicers in the house. Drop that ass, pop that pussy, OpenMicers in the house. OpenMicers in the house, OpenMicers is a mouse. Drop that ass, pop that pussy, OpenMicers in the house. The mic is now open.
That's right. The mic is now open. My name is Jason Robbins, and my usual co-host, my usual co-pilot, Jacob Craig, cannot be here tonight because he's having breast reduction surgery, and we wish him well. No, I'm just kidding. He's got the flu, everybody. He's got the flu, and he can't be here. But in his place, we have you know him, you love him. He is the director of the award-winning short film, The Feature, which is burning up the film festival circuit right now. He's the host of the Derek Diamond Experience. It is, of course, Mr. Derek Diamond.
Yay! No, it's exciting to be back. I'm excited to be back for this episode in particular, because of Headlinerz. It reminds me of some of the old late night talk show skits where they would read like just the most obnoxious and ridiculous news stories. So I'm excited to be back.
The fun part about this whole thing is we are doing an episode of Headlinerz tonight. If you've been a regular listener of the show, this is our 4th edition of Headlinerz. So Jacob is usually here, but I haven't seen any of these. This is the Google Doc.
Oh, even better. I haven't either. I just got the Google Doc like an hour ago.
Jacob put this Google Doc together with all these headlines in here. Links to all these stories. I haven't seen anything, so we're going in blind on this one.
It's like a Christmas present.
But let's go ahead and get started, shall we?
Let's do it.
Up first, we have from USA Today. Hold on. No. All right. Bud Light becomes the official beer of UFC as Anheuser-Busch looks to recoup revenue drop. Bud Light and the UFC are reuniting as the beer maker continues to pour dollars into marketing after its partnership with the trans influencer sparked a sharp sales decline earlier this year. The two companies announced Tuesday that Anheuser-Busch Beer is becoming the official sponsor of UFC in a new multi-year marketing partnership that goes into effect January 1st, 2024. They will become the official beer partner of the UFC in the deal.
Tell me you're trying to go the polar opposite of your advertising without telling me you're going to the polar opposite of your advertising.
And it's because like Dana White doesn't care about all that stuff.
No, he's getting a ton of money regardless. He does not care.
And the thing is everybody was so quick to jump on that bandwagon. Oh, Bud Light's woke. I'm not going to drink Bud Light anymore. Here's the thing, you dum-dums. They sent those personalized cans. They only sent one of those cans to that influencer. I don't remember her name because I'm old and I can't remember things, but they sent out like 2,000 other cans just like that to other influencers throughout social media. Why didn't they get freaked out about that? One freaking can these people freaked out over because it was a trans influencer. You're all a bunch of dum-dums. That's all I got to say. You bunch of dummies.
So this is how the internet works now. There are certain people, not everyone, there are a lot of good people on the internet. There are some that I'm convinced just sit on Twitter or Facebook and they're looking for something, some kind of agenda that they can grab onto to try and make themselves feel important.
I'm just going to say, if you get angry about something because Kid Rock told you to, please do me a favor. Go get a vasectomy right now because you do not need to breed.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to have to steal that. That was good. He was seen drinking a Bud Light not too long ago anyway. So like his point is moot.
When did he turn into Ted Nugent. Like, when did that happen? Didn't Kid Rock used to hang out with like drag queens and stuff like back in the 90s? He used to wear fur coats and shit on stage, and now he's like Mr. Fox News, like Mr. Trump guy. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Unfortunately, he has too much money to care what he does. But yeah, this made me laugh because as soon as I saw Bud Light, I'm like, oh, I know exactly where this is going. Let's see what our next story is. Oh, it's from IGN. Horror legend John Carpenter just wants to play video games, watch basketball, and eat popsicles. Halloween and The Thing director John Carpenter refutes his title as the master of horror. Sir, you are the master of horror. Don't let anybody tell you different. During an interview with Insider, the horror icon was told that he's often considered a master of the horror genre, but he really wasn't all that bothered. That's nice, he said. Sorry, I'm eating a popsicle.
He's
Look,
me. He's me
Yeah.
as an old man.
Look, I'm not a master of anything, he added. I just want to play video games and watch basketball. That's all I care about doing. I don't want to bother anybody. I respect that.
Yeah.
Look, John Carpenter's legacy is what it is.
It's solidified.
Yeah, I mean, unless he pulls a Vince McMahon, he's not going to be, erased from film history. He's the greatest horror director of all time.
Man,
if he wants to just watch the NBA and eat popsicles, let the man do it.
He's my favorite director of all time. I mean, I love Kevin Smith. I love, there's plenty of other directors that are fantastic, but John Carpenter is just the one that, like, I love almost everything he does. Even his bad movies, I love the way they look, the way they sound, the atmosphere he creates. There's something special about John Carpenter.
There's a certain charm to John Carpenter's movies that it makes them unique from even like a Kevin Smith movie or, like another indie film director's movie. Like, as soon as you start watching a movie, if you miss the opening credits, you can still tell that it's a John Carpenter movie.
Yeah.
This reminds me of a story I heard about Brendan Fraser when he was doing an interview. And at the beginning of it, he was playing the Nintendo Switch. And I'm like, that makes me respect you even more.
Yeah. And come on, he's John Carpenter. Like, he's already, he's got a video game, or at least a video game that he put his name on. Is coming out soon. He's got that TV show. What's it called again? Suburban Screams. That's coming out. Like, if the man wants to play video games, watch basketball, and eat popsicles, more power to him. He has earned it.
Yep, absolutely.
The next story. Holy crap! I haven't heard of E-Bomb. I haven't heard of E-Bomb's World. I didn't even know they were still around.
Yeah, I know.
God, I just got transported.
Like I'm back in college.
I know, I just got transported to 2002 all of a sudden. Amy Schumer says she's the most successful female comedian of all time. Let's see. Welcome to the weird and wild mind of Amy Schumer, who in a recent Instagram post claimed a bold claim that she is, and we quote, the most successful female comedian of all time. Now, we don't know how she is measuring this success. Did she bring audio meters to her shows and track the decibels of laughs over the years? And if she had, is there a database for such laugh measurements? Is she counting the number of zeros in her bank account? Regardless, it's a tough claim to back up. I'm not that big of a Amy Schumer fan, so no. I could, think of 100 other female comedians like Joan Rivers. Anybody? Like, I'm pretty sure she's way better than Amy Schumer could ever hope to be.
And she's also done more for comedy than Amy Schumer ever will.
Phyllis Diller. I mean, the greats.
Yeah. Yeah. It does raise the question, how do you measure success? Do you measure it in money? Do you measure it in notoriety? I want to know why she thinks that. Because I have a rule that I live by. If you have to tell people that you're the most successful at something, chances are you're not the most successful person to do that thing.
This is the equivalent of those dudes that go on Twitter and put alpha male in their Twitter heading, or X heading now, is be like their name, and it says like in parentheses alpha male. And I'm like, sir, If you have to point out that you're an alpha male, you, sir, are not an alpha male.
Sorry, you misspelled beta. But no, I've never been an Amy Schumer fan. Um, Even like between her comedy specials and the movies she's done, like I'll like some of her movies because of the other people that are in them, but she's not the reason. I've just never been a fan.
Yeah. I mean, is she talking about stand-up comedy or movies? Like, what is she talking about?
I mean, I think she's wrong on both counts
Yeah.
if she's talking about both.
I mean, there's so many other funnier, more successful female comedians than her.
Yeah, like a lot of them. Next up, we have from Kotaku. I feel like we're doing Nerd Cave
Yeah,
Retro
no
here.
kidding.
Uh, GameStop keeps finding new ways to rip people off. Oh, and other news, water is wet.
Yeah.
Things have been bad at retail chain GameStop for a while now, but somehow they're about to get even worse. Employee benefits are on the chopping block heading into next year as the gaming retailer doubles down on cost cutting despite holding $1 billion in cash reserves thanks to its earlier meme stock explosion. That's a good way to keep employees. The company's pro membership program for customer discounts continues to slash its perks too. And staff now reports that they're being told to replace new warranted products like PlayStation 5s with used ones.
Whoa.
You know, I didn't tell you my GameStop story from right before Christmas.
No.
So I got my wife this you've seen the latest season of Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they had this cool a pop figure set. It was Vecna with the Creel house. It was like a really cool set. Like it make for a great Halloween decoration.
Yeah.
The only place that had it is the GameStop near my house. So I'm just like, okay. So I pre-order it, and when it's ready to pick up, I go get it. There's no one in the store besides me and the two people that are working behind the counter.
Mm-hmm.
I knew this was going to be such a fun excursion. Whenever one of the guys looks over at me and he goes, "Sup?" I almost walked right out. I almost pulled a Grandpa Simpson and just grabbed my hat, put it back on, and walked right out the fucking door. And I'm like, are we back in like 10th grade? Like, what? So I just go up and I'm just like, I pre-ordered a pop figure, and they're like, what?
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, I see you now why the store's empty. So I
Yeah.
just grabbed my pop figure and left.
And also, too, I heard not too long ago that GameStop is still going all in on like NFTs. Like, what are you doing?
Do they even still make those?
No. I mean, didn't that crash and burn horribly like a year and a half ago?
I thought those lasted like 6 months.
Like, way to jump on the late train, you jerks. Wow.
Sell you some stock in Circuit City.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's see. This next one is not Nacho Average Bear. Florida mammal swipes $45 Taco Bell order from porch after Uber Eats delivery. That's not a bear. That's Jacob Craig in that picture right there. Fast food loving black bear. Hey, it's Jacob Craig right there. Stole $45 Taco Bell order from the front porch in the home of an Orlando suburb of Longwood moments after the Uber Eats driver delivered it. Let's see. The caper happened last Friday and was captured on the Ring camera. That's crazy. Like, what if can you imagine getting an Uber Eats order and, you know, they tell you that it's there and you go and open the door and there's a freaking bear standing there? Like, I would literally shit myself. We always talk on this show about shitting ourselves and how I don't shit myself, but Jacob does. That would be the shit myself moment if I open the door and there's a freaking bear there.
But see, like that's a shit-worthy moment because the exact same thing would happen to me. You know, there have been bear sightings in Gulf Breeze, which is the neighboring city in which I live.
And you're in Florida, so this is in your state.
This is like we're the Australia of the United States. I consider it a miracle that I make it to and from work every day.
It's crazy. I would probably have a heart attack if I opened my door and there was a freaking bear right there.
Is it bad that I'm curious to know exactly what Taco Bell was ordered? Like what the bear ate?
But especially 45. Well, I say $45 is a lot of Taco Bell, but not these days.
Dude, you could walk into a Taco Bell before COVID. You could walk in with $10 and you could have like a Thanksgiving feast.
Dude, I remember going to Taco Bell back in the 90s, when I was in high school and in college and stuff, and you could go there with $5 and get Thanksgiving dinner. Like, it was so cheap. It was $59, $79, $99. 59-cent tacos, 79-cent burritos, and 99-cent specialty items. Dude, you could eat like a king for $5. You can't do that. You can't even buy anything for $5 there anymore.
When I used to work at the Blue Wahoos, it would be one of like 3 places that would be open late. And luckily there was a Taco Bell not too far from the stadium. So pretty much every night I would go through the Taco Bell drive-thru and just get like 2 burritos, a quesadilla, and a taco. And it was so good.
It used to be probably like $6. Now it's like $14 for all that.
Yeah, because I had Taco Bell not too long ago for the first time in forever. When they told me the price, I'm like,
what?
Wait, like, inflation's gotten bad when you have to pay a lot for Taco Bell.
Yeah, it's no, inflation's bad when going to Taco Bell is just as expensive as going to like Applebee's or something.
You're not wrong. You're really not wrong. Our next story comes to us from WFLA.com. Mom convicted after preventing daughter from receiving cancer surgery, giving her CBD oil instead.
God, these people.
Oh, yeah. This was in Portland, Oregon. An Oregon mother has been found guilty on 3 charges for using alternative medicine like CBD oil to treat her daughter's liver cancer and for keeping the teenager away from scheduled surgery. Wilsonville resident Christina Dixon, 39, was first indicted in 2019 after she and daughter Kylie Dixon, who was 13 at the time, failed to show up for a medical procedure scheduled for June 6th. Officials declared Kylie Dixon a ward of the state and ordered Christina Dixon to bring the teen to the Oregon Department of Human Services. That's the same as attempted murder.
Yeah.
For me. If you prevent a person, like if this procedure will save your life and you're preventing them from doing it, that's attempted murder.
I mean, I don't have any rebuttal for that. I mean, 100%. You people out there, like, you people out there listening right now, right? Like, let's just talk for a second. If you're the type of person that doesn't get like immunized or get your kids immunized, like, there's a reason there's a polio vaccine and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't cause autism, but if you're the type of person that would do something like this, like not let your kid get cancer surgery, I stick by the thing I said in the first story. You should get neutered or spayed. Don't have any more kids. Just stop. Just don't have any more.
I feel like the tone you use to describe that, I feel like I should pour a glass of scotch and put on like a silk robe.
I have to talk to these people one-on-one. And
yeah,
there may be a few here and there that listen to the show. And it's like, look, just don't have kids. Just don't.
You're not wrong. Like this, people that listen to me on Nerd Cave Retro, I consider myself to be a very level-headed, fair person. But outside of that, I can have my own harsh opinions, and dude, I don't disagree with anything you just said.
Let them fly here on this show. Just let it all out.
This is almost like therapy for me.
Yeah. Let's see. From Futurism.com, awesome website lets you see what dinosaurs lived near your house.
Oh, this is awesome.
Want to know what kind of dinosaur roamed your backyard eons ago? Short of hopping into a time machine, this fun interactive website features a 3D view of Earth and the option to see what the planet looked like during pivotal snapshots between 750 million years ago and the present. The site, dubbed Ancient Earth and developed by Discord senior engineering manager Ian Webster, gives you the option to plug in any town or city and plot it back to its location at any given time, plus nearby fossils. I'm playing around with this tonight.
Yeah,
This is gonna be awesome.
yeah. Okay, so in Pensacola, fossils that are nearby are the Appalachosaurus, which I'm not sure what that is, and the Albertosaurus, and I'm not sure what that is either. Because I loved dinosaurs as a kid, which most kids did. But that was a long time ago.
You know what fact about dinosaurs still blows my mind to this day? Is there were dinosaur fossils. The dinosaurs were around for so long that there were dinosaur fossils while there were still dinosaurs existing. That's how long dinosaurs were around. Human beings have been around for like 3 seconds. It's crazy. Like, what is the human race? I mean, if we don't kill ourselves, what are we going to be like, 750 million years from now?
If things are tracking the way they are,
if we don't
probably not around.
If we don't immunize ourselves and stop hating on each other,
yeah.
If we live, we'll be lucky to make it another 10, 12 years, much less 750 million.
Yeah. Let's see. Ooh, ancient Egyptians.
Oh, I was excited. I saw this one, but I didn't read about it.
So this is from Live Science. Scottish boy digging for potatoes found masterpiece of Egyptian sculpture on his school grounds. Let's see. 71 years ago, a schoolboy in Scotland was digging up potatoes as a punishment when he discovered an ancient Egyptian statue, the first in a collection of ancient Egyptian sculptures and artifacts buried in the grounds of his school. Now researchers have finally worked out how the artifacts got to the British Isles. Between 1952 and 1984, several antique statues were found on the grounds of Melville House, a stately building in Fife County that lodged soldiers during World War II and later served as a boarding school. Teachers and pupils brought each new discovery to museum curators and experts who identified the statues as ancient Egyptian artifacts, but no one could figure out how they ended up there.
Hey, teacher, I was digging up some potatoes. I found a Nefertiti.
My first call would be to Brendan Fraser and be like, "Sir, we have another mummy situation on our hands."
Oh, I mean, that's nuts. Like, how did that stuff get there?
So get this, the ancient collection includes a nearly 4,000-year-old statue head carved out of red sandstone, which Maitland described as a masterpiece, as well as several bronze and ceramic figurines dating to between 1069 BC and 30 BC,
Jeez.
or just before the Romans took over Egypt.
What?
That's insane.
But how did they get there in Scotland, like buried in the ground?
Let's see. Okay, so this is a long article, but I feel like we have to see this through.
Okay.
Let's
see. It says
determined the origin were fruitless.
In 1984, a group of teenage boys from Melville House visited Goring at the museum and brought an Egyptian bronze figurine, which one of them had found with a metal detector on the school grounds. Let's see. It's still not how it was brought there.
This is a very drawn out article.
Oh, it's been buried for over 100 years.
I wonder who buried it.
Oh, it says the fascinating tale of how Egyptian objects turned up at Melville House contains mysteries that may never be solved. Their story will be published in an upcoming article on the journal Proceedings of the Society of Antiquaries of Scotland.
As soon as you said mysteries that may never be solved, I'm like, if he were still alive, get Robert Stack on the line.
Yeah, no kidding. I should look up that music.
For those that might be younger that are listening to the show, there's a really great true crime show called Unsolved Mysteries.
Robert Stack, when I was a kid, like that dude was scary. Because when I heard that
love
music,
that show.
I loved it, but man, that dude just had a way of talking and just like It's just like, what horrifying thing is unsolved? Like, tell me.
Oh, and you throw in that killer theme song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Robert Stack could make, like, if you lost your TV remote in the couch, he would make it sound like you were going to get killed.
I wish I could do an impression of Robert Stack. I would never talk in my normal voice again if I could talk like Robert Stack.
See, then we could move to audio only, and I could say that somehow we resurrected Robert Stack from the dead.
No, because
And
then
he-
we'd get sued for
Yeah, you're right.
by the
You're
Robert
right.
Stack
Ignore me.
estate because they were
Ignore
using
me.
AI. Like, oh, I got a whole thing I want to talk about that one of these days. I got an article I'm going to write about that whole dudesy thing. They actually admitted to the New York Times that it was written by Chad Kultgen. Like, the doozy AI doesn't really exist. And I'm like, how could these people honestly believe that Will Sasso of Mad TV fame had an AI that was more powerful than anything Google has running his podcast? Like, did you really believe that?
Do people believe anything? I could post just the most ridiculous story on Twitter, and somebody would believe it.
It's just it goes to show that how manipulative the mainstream media outlets are, and it's all just rage clickbaiting. That's all it is.
That's why I don't pay attention to any of it, because it's all agenda driven,
Yeah.
and it's all clickbait. That's all they care about are the number of views.
And the lawyers for Kelly Carlin led her astray because they didn't do their research either. They thought it was a real AI too. If they would have just listened to the damn podcast for more than 3 seconds, they would have known that doozy's not real. It's like watching wrestling. That's the fun of the show, is knowing it's not real, but pretending that it is.
Yeah, it's suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
But no, they got to bring everything to court because they just want to. I hate it. This next story.
Oh, this is great.
An invasive species of feral Canadian super pigs could spread to the U.S. Super pigs. Dun, dun, dun. And let's see. Residents of the northern U.S. may soon have to worry about more than was a once ridiculed concept: warding off feral hogs. According to the AP, an expanding population of Canadian super pigs, a species of wild boar that is exceptionally hard to eradicate, are threatening to spread into states like Montana, North Dakota, and Minnesota. Thank God nobody lives there.
I was about to say, does Montana even really count?
I know. They got like 8 people that live in Montana. They can take care of it.
But I will say this, though, because they're Canadian super pigs, does that mean that they're actually really polite and they're just misunderstood?
like, don't make back bacon out of us, eh? We just want to play some hockey and drink some Labatt Blue, eh?
I say get the Sci-Fi Channel on the phone and say, step away, Sharknado, 3-headed shark attack, get the hell out of here. We've got super pigs.
I can just see, like, they're chasing this pig down, and he's running. He's like, take off, you hoser.
You know what? This sounds like the next outlandish Kevin Smith movie.
It does.
Hey, that's how Tusk got made.
I know.
Because him and Mosier read that real life article on Smodcast.
He was supposed to do Moose Jaws.
Yeah, but I think after Tusk and that whole thing went down, he's like, you know what? Never mind.
Tusk is such a weird movie.
Yeah, like, it's a movie I'll never watch again, but I'm glad that I did, just because I was curious.
Yeah, it's a good watch, but yeah, it's not something I'll watch ever again. And oh my God, I can't wait for you to read this.
Oh, I feel like this was done by design. From independent.co.uk. Astronauts may suffer from erectile dysfunction after trips to space, study finds. Long trips into outer space could leave astronauts with a great risk of erectile dysfunction. In the years to come, space agencies such as NASA hope to send their astronauts on long trips into space, including to Mars. In the years to come, humans are expected to embark on long space journeys that could see them travel for months to previously unexplored parts of space. But researchers have warned there is a vast set of important health risks for those trips, more than 30 of them in all. That's not concerning whatsoever.
Yeah.
The hazards include different gravity and space radiation, as well as specific risk of the statecraft or spacecraft, including isolation and confinement in closed environments. The
Space
health risk,
madness.
spice.
Spice.
The health risk include cancer, cardiovascular disease, behavioral health issues, and nutrition problems. Those I expect. Now scientists have added another risk, their sexual health. What's more, scientists warn that the problems do not abate even with time, though there might be an opportunity to treat them.
All men's NASA astronauts have suddenly quit their positions and will no longer
Yep.
be going
So
into space.
the trip to Mars will now be an all-female crew. Let's see. Oh, in the new study, researchers took rats and subjected them to similar conditions that will meet humans in space: lower weight to mimic the microgravity of space travel, and simulated galactic cosmic radiation of the kind that will rain down on space travelers. The simulated situation exerts a long-term impairment of neurovascular erectile function, which exposes a new health risk to consider with deep space exploration. So do you just have like a massive erection for the entire trip, and then whenever it's done, you just like it doesn't work anymore?
No, I just imagine like soon as you hit 0 G, it's like bam, no more boners. Like that's it. You don't get them anymore.
No pressure. Like, sure, you can experience zero G's, and that'd be cool and all, but the price to that is you'll never be able to have children.
Yeah, but didn't they do some didn't NASA actually do some experiments with some male and female astronauts doing actually having sex in space, like for scientific
I thought they
purposes?
did. If they haven't, I'm surprised that they haven't.
I mean, could an egg get fertilized in space? Because the sperm will be like, what the hell is happening? Just floating around everywhere.
You need to turn what you just did into a GIF. Just so yeah, if you're a male astronaut, think twice before going up in that rocket.
Yeah. I think we're going to skip a few of these because we're coming up on the end. Let me do this one here. This looks interesting. Let's see. 31-year-old shot in the face for not sharing potato chips. Please say.
Oh, God.
From Akron, Ohio. Police in Ohio are investigating after they said they spoke with a person who was shot in the face. He shot me in the face for not sharing his potato chips. Let's see. 31-year-old victim had taken himself to the hospital. They found him with a gunshot wound to the face that was deemed non-life threatening. God, can you imagine getting shot in the face that's non-life threatening? He was confronted by an unknown man outside of Lusty's Adventure on Stanton Avenue. What a name. Is that a gas station? Lusty's Adventure? Or is that like
either that or a porno shop?
Yeah, or a gentleman's club? He said the
spinoff to Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah. He said the other man shot him with a handgun after he refused to give him his potato chips. Good Lord. You can't spare a couple of Pringles, man?
Yeah, I mean, I know that they kind of shortchange you if you get the bags of like Doritos or Lay's. But if you get the vibe that you're going to get shot for not giving somebody some chips, give them the damn chips.
I mean, have you ever been so hungry that you're willing to shoot somebody in the face if they don't give you a bite of their food?
Yeah, but I wouldn't do it. I mean, yeah, like I've gotten to where, I'd want to like knock somebody over or punch them in the mouth to get like a sandwich or something, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do it.
You're like a work meeting and you're just like, if this meeting's not over in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to shoot somebody in the face because I'm starving.
Let me tell you a quick old work story that actually reminds me of that. So when I worked at the Wahoos, so we hosted a local college football team for a few years. And during their inaugural season, we had this whole like, staff meeting between the university. And that meeting went almost 3 hours long.
What?
And it started at 11 a.m. So I look over at one of my coworkers and I just do like the sandwich hand motion. I just start because I was hangry when that meeting was
I
over.
can imagine.
Uh
All
so
right.
yeah, just
Well,
work over the chips.
we'll do one more story. You can close us out with the next one right after that one.
Okay. After that, I do have a very quick one that's actually a local
Okay.
story, if you'll indulge.
Absolutely.
Okay, from UPI.com, Florida man. God
Florida
damn it.
man.
God. Florida man seeks 1 million copies of Titanic on VHS because
Derek.
you know what? Why not?
Derek, why do you need 1 million copies of Titanic on VHS?
Because I have 999,999. What's one more?
Wow.
A Florida man has amassed a collection of 2,467 copies of 1997 film Titanic on VHS, and he is aiming for 1 million. The Largo area man identified as JD or Titanic Fan 97 on YouTube says he's This is just straight up trolling. This is straight up fucking trolling.
It has to be. Like, how does this become a news story?
Because what else are they going to talk about? Let's see. Said he scours thrift stores, flea markets, and garage sales for VHS copies of the James Cameron film, and social media followers have mailed him tapes from all over the world. Don't indulge this behavior.
Yeah, this is like this
This
guy
is not
has
healthy.
This is a mental issue.
Yeah. You can't escape this movie. Everyone had it. Your grandma had it. Your mom, your dad, whoever. Someone in your family had this movie, JD told WFTS TV. He said he is aiming to gather 1 million copies and earn an unsinkable, world record for the largest collection of Titanic VHS tapes. I go to sleep thinking about Titanic, and I wake up thinking about Titanic.
That serves a mental illness.
Yes. We also have the world's largest collection of Titanic, the soundtrack, on CD. Ripley's Believe It or Not took me in, and I will be in the next book. And it even says if JD is asking anyone with spare VHS copies of Titanic to mail them to his address, which I will not disclose.
I actually have a copy of this on VHS. I might send it to him.
You should. If you do, please send me a picture of like the packaging.
All right.
And wherever I am, I will lose my shit laughing.
I'll be like, please listen to episode 191 of Open Micers.
of Open Micers.
You know, I was just thinking, I worked at the movie theater when this movie was out, and this movie was in the theater for so long. Like, movies back
That's how
then,
it made so much money.
Yeah, it was in the theaters for like 9 months, or maybe even a year. And there was, I remember I worked at the movie theater. It was packed. This movie was packed almost every single weekend that it was playing. And then there was this one lady, and I guess it was her daughter or something. They came every weekend on Saturday and Sunday and watched that movie every Saturday and Sunday together for the entire run it was in the movie theater.
It's such a long movie.
It's like a 3.5 hour movie. Like, I watched it like once in the theater, and I think maybe one more time after that. And that was it. I've seen that movie twice my entire life.
I remember when that came out on VHS, it flew off the shelves like crazy.
I mean, it was a must-have movie back in the VHS days. You know, it was the 2 VHS set because the movie's so freaking long.
We actually did this at my old job where we did a Titanic night where we said which will take longer, the movie or the baseball game, and we actually had the movie playing in our production room.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I want to say the game ended 15 minutes before the movie did.
I just remember that the actual film that we had, you know, this was back in the days before digital projectors. This was actually film that was being fed through the projector. That film was so ragged by the time we got rid of it. Like, it was so spliced together from just getting caught in the machine and just, like, you would go to watch it in the theater and there would just be scratches and hair and stuff all in it and everything.
How big was the reel?
Oh God, it took up the entire plate. Like if you've ever seen those old projectors, most movies are like 90 minutes long. You know, regular movies back then were 90 minutes long, and they would take up like, you know, maybe 3/4 of the plate that it would sit on. There were these three plates that you could feed through the machine, and it would go onto another plate, and you would just continually like move it up and down plates as you played the movie. And then by the time we were done with it, man, dude, that thing was just so ragged and burnt out. You could barely hear it anymore. Like it was in the movies for so long.
I mean, they should have at least sent you guys like other reels because of
No.
how long. Yeah, that's yeah, they could spare that. That movie made so much money.
And then I was a projector at the time, projectionist. And when the movies were done, we had to take them back apart and put them in the cans that came to us. And sometimes either the movie studios we'd have to send them back to the studios, or we would rent them to the little silver screen theater that was nearby. It was a little second run movie dollar theater. They got a lot of movies from us. Well, they got all their movies from us. And I still remember that movie, The Saint. That was a long ass movie too. I forgot to put the little suction cups on it when I was breaking it down to give it to the silver screen, and it started to wobble when I turned the machine on because it goes really fast as you're breaking it down, and it started to wobble, and I was like, oh crap, and I went to hit the stop, but by then it was too late. It had already wobbled and flew off the
Oh
the
no.
plate, and it smashed on the floor, and there was just like 300 miles of movie film that I was just like, oh my God, what do I do?
That's awful.
They actually had to call in another projectionist to finish the rest of my shift while I sat there and slowly, like, you know, tried to undo that movie, and I ended up with like hundreds of little paper cuts all over my hands from it was
I
awful.
bet. Did you see the you know how when Oppenheimer was in IMAX, it was actually in certain theaters, it was in 70 millimeter film.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the size of that reel?
I never saw 70 millimeter film.
It would probably like it would take up half of my studio.
Oh,
Like
probably.
it is freaking huge. I'll have to see if I could find the picture of it, because when I saw the video of it, I'm just like, holy crap.
I would hate to be the projectionist for that movie. I mean, you
Yeah.
screw something up, like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So whenever you asked me to do this episode, it just so happened that a friend of mine in a group chat sent this hilarious story from Facebook that I thought would be perfect for this. So you remember the craze during the pandemic known as Tiger King?
Yeah.
So this was posted on the Pensacola Pets Lost Found Rehoming page. The title reads, "Lost my tiger cub. Do not approach if found." This is in Cantonment, which is a little community just north of here.
So now you got to worry about a tiger and black bears.
This is why I don't leave my house anymore.
It's going to be lions next. It'll be lions, tigers, and bears. Oh, my.
Oh, my. Hopefully you're not a cop, but I have a cousin who has dipped a toe into wildlife trafficking time and again. I don't condone his actions, but he did get me a tiger cub when he returned to the States, and also helped me set up this sweet enclosure in my backyard with soundproofing so nobody could hear it. But there is a way for him to get fresh air. His name is Kato. It would be such a shitstorm for somebody to find him in their backyard. He is still little, but so much bad can happen. If you spot Kato, please send me an email. I'm trying to do this without the news or cops getting involved, not releasing my exact location. This is very serious, in all caps. My girlfriend named him, and she will kill me if she finds out I lost him. My cousin and I think he chewed his way free or dug his way free. This all started because we are such big fans of Tiger King. I hope somebody can help. There's some dumb motherfuckers that live in my area.
Dude, it's not just you. It's everywhere. And that's the thing. Like, everybody used to think that just Southerners were stupid. It's all of America at this point. You can find these idiots all over the place.
So if you have never hear from me again, chances are I've been killed by a tiger cub, maimed by a bear, or been in a major car accident because people around here can't drive.
Hey, Samantha, there's a kitty in the backyard. Come here, kitty, kitty. Oh! God, that would suck.
Oh, that would be terrible.
Who needs
that's
a
my
tiger? For real.
I mean, it was funny when Mike Tyson had one in The Hangover, but like that was a movie.
You can imagine how much it costs to feed one of those things?
Yet eventually you're going to be its lunch.
Yeah.
That instinct doesn't go away.
I mean, why don't you just get a cat? It's the same thing except tiny.
Yeah. Get one that, looks kind of like a tiger, the closest that you can find, and you can still name it Kato. That's not a bad name.
Yeah, and go get those little Bengal cats, or like go get you a Maine Coon. They get pretty big. Why do you need a freaking tiger?
I would say that sounds like the plot to a bad show, but it already was one.
I mean, if your hero is Tiger King, you got a lot more problems that you need to address.
When he was arrested at that physical therapist office, like that happened here.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, over in Gulf Breeze.
Really?
Which is right outside of Pensacola Beach.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was the Andrews Institute is where he got arrested.
Huh. Whew, man.
Because when I saw it, I'm like, hey, I know that parking lot.
Wow. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. And if you're out there, stop getting tigers and immunize your kids, and like don't listen to Kid Rock. If we learned anything today, don't listen to Kid Rock.
No bawa da pa.
Yeah. So Derek, tell everybody where they can find your stuff at.
Yeah, so of course you can check out Jason and myself over at the Nerd Cave Retro podcast that we do every Monday night live at 6 p.m. where we talk about retro video games, gaming history, news. We have a fun time over there. So you can go to Linktr.com/nerdcaveretro to find all of your information. And then, of course, you can check out my show, The Derek Diamond Experience, which is nearing its 10-year anniversary here in about a month and a half, which is insane to say.
That is a hell of a milestone, man.
Yeah, I'm too stubborn to quit.
I mean, we're 2 years away from a 10-year mark on Nerd Cave Retro, and that's nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is. But yeah, I drop new episodes every Monday, mostly talk film and television. I do celebrity interviews, top 5 list. Occasionally we do roundtable discussions, and you can check out all the information there at linktree.com/ddiamondpodcast.
And that's going to do it for this episode. And if you want to email us, you can email us your weird headlines to openmicerspodcast@gmail.com. Openmicers.com is our website. That's where we put the blogs and all that kind of stuff. Linktree/openmicerspodcast takes you everywhere you need to go. All of our socials, everywhere you can find the show. And we've got some Cash App and PayPal buttons up there if you want to give us some money. So that's about it. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. And thank you, everybody, for watching on YouTube. We'll see you guys next week.